What's up, Power Warriors? Today is Tuesday, September 26, 2023. My name is Jarrett McAllister, the virtual solar pro. This is Power Hitters Weekly Training. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to like the video, share it, subscribe to the channel. It helps out the algorithms. Today, I'm rocking with my main man, Mr. Tommy Cotter. What's up, brother? How are you?
Tommy, wow, that's good. I'm doing awesome, man. Coming to you
Only I
live
get to
from
say that.
sunny Kansas City right now. I'm feeling a bit lacking if I don't put my hat on so I can kind of match you over there, man. There we go. That's better.
Oh, yeah, this bad boy right here, had to cop the flat bill, green bill lid from Power World 2023. You got to get some swag. That's what's great about those events, right? You're always coming away with some good swag at the end.
That book in there too from Daniel Housen, Solar. Man, that
Oh
was
yeah,
a winner right there. If you guys
selling
haven't
solar.
started that yet, you need to start reading that book. It's a
Yeah,
good
we're
one.
gonna need a full book report from everybody next week. No, so things are good. You said it's sunny in Kansas City. It is dumping rain here up in northern Idaho, up here in Hayden. Woke up to that. And I apologize now if I'm a little lower on the energy. I somehow made a mistake of saying okay to my wife and her friends to do a 5 a.m. CrossFit class. So we were up at 4, and I'm pretty sure my 3-year-old didn't go to bed till midnight. So yeah, I'm running on fumes, but nothing that a couple large coffees can't get me through. So no, but I'm excited. I'm excited for this week. We have an incredible training for all you guys. Let's jump into it, shall we? So success stories like we do every single week. Love hearing from all of you out there. I love hearing about your sales, your NEM3 sales. But if you had a little bit of adversity, talk to us how you overcame it. It helps everybody out. Not just saying I got a sale. So that definitely helps out. And then we'll follow this up with a power perspective. So go ahead, raise your hand, drop it in the chat if you're shy. Tara was quick to raise her hand. What's up, Tara? How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine. It's actually sunny down here, Jarrett, just so you know. They'll come and go all day. Jarrett and I live about 20 minutes from each other, so.
Yeah, it was 4 a.m. this morning, downtown Coeur d'Alene.
There you go. I have a very brief one. I just want to say I was thrilled last week to get 3 projects all unstuck the same day, one of which I share with Tom Cotter. So that was pretty exciting, and they just needed to move along. 2 of the issues were just delays by the homeowners, and the third one had to do with the complexity of determining what the actual main service panel amperage is. So we've moved along, and I just wanted to celebrate that.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a great one. And listen, we all know the money we make in solar. It's incredible. But we don't get it for just closing contracts. We get it because we have the ability to put out fires and being a problem solver. And you guys, this is construction. Like Bobby always says, we're putting holes in people's freaking roofs. It's not easy. It doesn't always go smooth. It's up to us, though, to be the problem solver. And just a pro tip, you guys, when your homeowner has an issue or something comes up, it's just like as if your child fell down right in front of you. If you it's how you react is how they're going to react. If they fall down, scrape their knee, and you go, oh my God, are you okay? They're going to look up and go, oh, right? The world is falling because you're freaking out. And so they're going to freak out, right? But if you just go, if you look at them, it's all good. This is normal. Stay calm, cool, collective. They're not going to flip out, right? So it's all about your demeanor, how you guys handle issues or problems. And I don't know if you had any issues or problems, stuck projects, but it just reminded me of this. I wanted to share that with all you guys. It'll definitely help you out in your solar career tremendously. Tom, you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, it's amazing when stuff goes smooth and there's no bumps along the way, right? But like with this one with Tara, we found out that, hey, the main panel is missing a label. And so that's what kind of threw everybody for a loop and we finally got it certified. But yeah, it just takes not freaking out, not overreacting, staying in communication with the homeowner, staying in communication with the project manager, following the process of tickets and support and, you know, all that stuff. So yeah,
Love it.
it's just babysitting, right? You just want to babysit these projects and make sure that they get home safe.
Hey
Got
guys,
it.
I just wanted to say, Jared, that was probably the best analogy I've ever heard. In solar, it's like your kid falling down, not overreacting. I could not have put that better. Good job.
Yeah, I
It's so
appreciate it.
true. It's so true.
Agreed.
It really is. Well, thank you for sharing that, Tara. Love that. Jason, what do you got for us, brother?
Hey, really quick, kudos on the analogy. Also, I'm a firm believer in R&D, rip off and duplicate, right? But no, my win, actually, I've got my partner in crime standing in line behind me with his hand up. But we went and set up at the Miramar Air Show Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We were in front of tens of thousands of people. And it was a blast, man. We were able to see Zachary Bach, Solar Mike. They all stopped by our booth, got some photos with us. But it's just crazy how momentum breeds more momentum. You know, we're out there, we're hustling, we're doing what we got to do. I would say over the course of the weekend, we probably are in the midst of signing up between 40 and 50 new ambassadors. Some of those, I would guess 10% or so are going to turn into new deals. Grindle was closing a deal at the air show. I'll let him talk about it. And then one of the best things with that momentum carrying momentum is while we're there, we're working, we're posting on social media. I got people that are just seeing what we're posting going, oh, hey, by the way, I just remembered, I got a new lead for you. You know, so I was able to pick up, 3 new personal leads that weren't even at this air show just by continuing to post, be there with high energy. And I would say at the end of the day, we're representing power, kicking butt, taking names.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, think about things that you can talk about on social media that are not just, hey, I do solar. Do you want solar panels? You know, go to events just like you did. That's an awesome event. It's a super fun event to go to also, right? Just to be out there with all those planes and military and everything else. But whether it's home shows or whether you're posting, you know, like yesterday I posted that we're hiring on my Facebook for a remote customer care specialist. And I probably had 15 people that asked for the link to apply for that. And I followed up with, hey, and if you're interested in learning to sell solar as well, or, you know, or the ambassador program. So how about you, Greg? We want to hear from you too.
Absolutely. Good morning, everybody. Power Hitters team, Jarrett and Tom. First time caller. How does that go? Oh, I fumbled
Long-time
it.
listener. First
Time
caller.
caller. Long time
listener,
listener, first time caller. Anyways, I fumbled it. You know what I was saying? Yeah, my esteemed business partner there, Jason, we were out there at the MCAS Air Show for 4 days out there shaking hands and kissing babies. And we came across a couple homeowners on Sunday that actually wanted proposals right then and there. And we were able to furnish a couple cash proposals for the customer. And they were under the impression that their kilowatt hours were a certain amount from the other solar companies that they had talked to. So once they had logged into our utility API link and we had realized that their kilowatt hour usage was actually a lot more than what they were being told. So there are other solar companies out there that are still not using like an API link or a super connect or something to get the homeowners true data, not just how much energy they are using, but when they're using that energy so we can accurately size their batteries on the system. So, and then my main win today is I woke up and there was a couple homeowners that also send that data to our link. So we have some bills to put in the system and get closed. I appreciate the time, gentlemen.
Love it. Love it, man. Taking action. And, you know, sometimes getting that homeowner data is the hardest thing to do, especially in the beginning. I remember when I first started doing this, I was like, hold on, I just got to collect the bill, put up the lead. Renasso's going to go close the deal. We're going to make $4 or $5 grand each. Sounds like that's easy. I talk to people, they're all stoked. They're like, oh yeah, I'll give you my bill. freaking ghost me for like a week, man. It's like pulling teeth sometimes. And you get better at it. You get better at it. I'm very direct. Like if I have them on the hook or if I have them on the phone, I'll literally walk them through it right then and there. I'll say, hey, let's log in right now. I don't give it to, hey, can you go in and log in? Because man, we get busy. We have kids, we have jobs, soccer practice. So, and then you're following up with them. Sometimes you feel like you're bugging them. If you have someone right in front of you, try to get them to log in. What's the first thing they're going to say? Oh, I don't remember my logins. It's easy. Just hit the forgot password or forgot login buttons. Go straight to their email. Go in there, download that data, take action on it. So great job, Greg. I appreciate you sharing that, man.
And if they take that time, if they took their time to put their login credentials into a link, that's a hot customer.
Oh,
simple.
Absolutely.
So
in fact, I won't do a presentation if someone hasn't taken the time to give me their bill. I won't do it because they're not committed, right? If they want to get an estimate for solar production on their home, but they're not willing to let me know how much electricity they use or give me their bill, I'm not wasting my time. And I explain
100%.
to them, there's no way for me to accurately build a system for you unless I have the data and know how much electricity you use on an annual basis. But like what Greg said, on an hourly basis, right?
That's exactly the key.
It's a little bit more detail.
No bill, no time, right? But I've pretty much switched exclusively to using utility API. And I think the reason being is because while we've got some pretty good general rules of thumb in terms of system sizing and battery sizing under this new NEM 3, I'm saying, hey, listen, homeowner, you can work with someone that's going to look at 12 data points, or you can work with someone that's going to look at 8,760 plus data points, and we can really fine tune the system to meet your unique and your specific needs. And I think that carries a lot of weight going forward. So on that note, I just wanted to reach out. I briefly had mentioned in the chat in the forum call yesterday that I did develop a tool that in 5 seconds can break down someone's 8,000 plus data points and let you know exactly how much energy they're using at night, how much energy they're using during peak rates, and so on and so forth, so that we have a little bit more control in terms of sizing the system correctly. What I'd like to do is put on a workshop with my co-host Grindel, and if anyone is interested in seeing that tool in use and getting a copy of it, leave your email in the chat, and we'll set something up for the next couple of weeks. Thanks, guys.
Perfect. Love it. Sounds great, guys. Let's move on to Power Bill. That flows so well. What's up, Power Bill?
What's happening, Jared? Hey, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Power hitters, Power Solar Warrior Tribe. I heard your little deal about responding to a child the same way at Power World. That was somebody mentioned it too. It might have been you, Jarrett, but it was a great then and it's great now. So use that as a response. Lemonade out of lemons. I had a project just about ready to fail on me because it was a ground mount system in an area where we have flood control, and they were going to say, oh no, we can't do it. We have all kinds of engineering problems and blah, blah, blah. And I'm ready to let it go because it's been a long time. Guy's about ready to lose his financing. And finally, I just said, hey, look, why don't we just put it on your roof and call it good? And he was okay with that. And not only did we get him on his roof for less money, but we got Sungage to re-sign the financing. We got him brand new financing. It's all good. And there's some lemonade. Yesterday morning, 8 a.m. my time, or 7 a.m. my time, excuse me. I closed the deal because they're on the East Coast, and I got somebody that wants to meet me at 9:30 to begin with my time. And I said, no, I can't do that. 6:30 is just too early, but 7 a.m. I closed the deal. Then yesterday in the afternoon, I talked I snuck into Greg Bloom's territory, hardest working man in solar. Thank you, Craig, and snagged a new consultant who's a life coach and has an axe throwing business. So I got to stay out of her way, but she's excited. She's ready to go. And so we recruited. So we have a new recruit and a new deal yesterday. And I've got about 10 more on the hook for this week. So go Power.
Great, brother. Great, cool, man. And I'll just say about lemons out of lemonade, my man, David Goggins, he says, some people make lemonade out of lemons. So I eat the fucking lemon. Stay hard. All right. So with that being said, we're going to move on. I appreciate you guys sharing your success stories. We are going to move on to Tom now for a little power perspective. Tommy, it's all you.
Hey, Solar Warriors, I want to take something written almost 3,000 years ago in another language and make it practical for you and your solar business and maybe even your personal life. Proverbs 27:17 is translated from classical Hebrew as, quote, as iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. Navigating the twists and turns of your solar business and life can at times feel like riding a wild roller coaster. We talk about the solar coaster in our industry. And to keep you strapped in and headed in the right direction, think about creating your own crew of go-to people. Let's call it your personal coaster crew. And this crew could be made up of 6 to 10 people who get you, who care about your ride, and offer solid advice to keep you moving forward on your path. They're like your personal cheerleaders, friends, maybe even a coach or two who've got your back. So how do you find your coaster crew? Start thinking about the kind of guidance you might need and who can give it to you. Jot down names of people who have helped you out with great advice and fresh ideas. Think about those who pump you up, share your values, and believe in you. And when picking your crew, remember it's all about the person and not necessarily the title that they have. A personal coaster crew, which is also known as a personal board of directors, with all of these different voices will likely serve you very well in your solar business and in your life. Back to you, Jarrett.
Love that, Tom. Thank you for sharing that, man. It's so important to surround yourself around the right people. And I think a little bit to Tom's point, it's about quality, not necessarily quantity. You know, you could do so much with just a small, tight-knit crew, but people who are going to keep you moving forward when you hit the lows, when you get stuck, right? Being around those good, positive people, good energy, it's really makes a huge difference. So thank you for sharing that, Tom. Really appreciate that. Now, to the meat and potatoes of the show. Super excited about our guest, our special guest here, which, you know, I got to share this. Let me share my screen here. The only reason they're on is because they were buying me old fashions all weekend long at Power World 2023. Jeff and Matt from Sungage were there. And you guys, for those that don't know, you're about to know, they are our best lending partner out there. It's not even close. Jeff, you here?
I'm here, man.
What's up, Jeff? So Mr.
Hey,
Jeff
man.
Fontaine with Sungage, bro. Like I said, a couple of those drinky drinks on the Sungage card. It was much appreciated. We had some fun, didn't we?
We sure did. I'm really looking forward to my expense report. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, those might be the most expensive old fashions ever.
Yeah, but they were worth every single
Well
dollar.
worth it. Well worth
Yeah,
it.
no, so super excited to have you on, man. I'll go ahead and let you share your screen. Give me 1 second. If you have a slide or two you'd like to share, go ahead. I'll
Yeah,
pin
man.
your picture here.
All right.
All right. There you go. You're spot lit, my man. And
Right on.
but yeah, once again though, for those that don't know, Sungage Financial was announced just a few weeks ago. It's on the platform currently. It's in solo only. Any freaking day, I'm texting Matt Gordon like every day. When's it in vision? When's it in vision? Because once you guys compare Sungage to any other financing partner, you're going to see why they're the hottest new, you know, lender in town. So with that being said, Jeff, go ahead, man. Take it away.
Thank you. Thank you all for having me. Appreciate it. It's actually pretty cool to see a lot of you that I already met out at Power World, which was a pretty incredible experience for me. I mean, the energy that Power has is definitely second to none out there. We work with 700 installers. I've been at Sungage for 9.5 years. So I've seen a lot of them, and I can say unmatched with the energy and culture that you guys have. So we are really stoked to be working with you guys without question. I figured today I'll jump in, kind of do like quick review of our basics, and then I want to leave plenty of time. You guys have questions, feel free to jump in anytime, but we'll leave plenty of time at the end for that as well. Basic foundation of our loan is probably very similar to what you guys see out there with other loans, right? We have the 18-month deferral, which is like an interest only. And then we have the term portion, which you'll start making monthly payments on 60 days after install. The one difference with us and the rest of the competition is how we handle that deferral. So if you're in a state that has any additional benefit, whether that is a state tax credit, a rebate, battery incentives, those types of things, we'll actually build those into the deferral as well. So your customer's not making payments on that piece until they're going to get their actual rebate, tax credit, whatever it may be. So in those markets, without question, we will always be the lowest monthly payment when you're comparing apples to apples. I believe we have 14 markets where there's some kind of incentive we build in. I'm actually going to post, I have a chart of that, and I'll post it in the Powur knowledge base for you guys as well. But a huge advantage there. This example is just a really simple one for Arizona, where they have the extra $1,000 state tax credit. So we throw in that extra $1,000 in the deferral, and you end up getting a monthly payment that's somewhere around $10 a month cheaper than what it normally would be if we just did the 30% ITC. Again, customer's not going to make a payment until 60 days after the loan funds, which we pay Powur 100% at install. Money goes in their account the day after. So that was kind of when the clock starts ticking for your customer. Then at the end of 18 months, we give them the option. Do you want to pay that incentive and ITC towards your loan, keep your monthly payment the same? Or do you want to keep that cash? We don't really care. Do what's best for you. It's kind of interesting. This past year, we're starting to get all the data from this tax cycle. And in the past 4 or 5 years, when we had really, really cheap, low APR loans, we had a 0% loan for 25 years. We saw about 75% of our customers keeping the money. That's almost flip-flopping this year in what we're seeing. So higher APRs, you can expect people are probably going to want to put money back into the loan. But after that 18 months, we offer unlimited reamortizations. So a customer has a change of heart, they want to lower that monthly payment for the duration of their term, they can do a ream anytime. They can do more than one. We don't really care. The one caveat there is you'd have to put $2,500 towards it. We kind of get a lot of questions on what happens if someone wants to just pay extra cash every month, right? They're adding an extra $100 on their payment. That case is going to work just like a mortgage. So in those scenarios, we'll apply that directly to the principal. Inevitably, you shorten your term. So instead of paying it off in 25 years, let's say, maybe you pay it off in 15. Great option for people that want to do that. If the person really truly wants to do a ream, though, where they are planning on paying for the entire term but lowering their monthly payment, all they got to do is pick up the phone, call Sungage. We facilitate that. Happens very quickly. It'll be reflective on their next monthly payment. Little process overview. So you guys today, those projects are all going to be built in Solo. Vision is soon to come. Actually, after I get off of this meeting, I have a meeting with Matt Gordon. So I'm hoping to have the update. We're pretty confident it's either this week or next week that we're going live in Vision. We expect that to be super smooth since it's just a direct API with Powur versus going through the middleman with Solo. And some of you are more than familiar that there's been a few hiccups there, but we've been working with Solo pretty hard to make sure that things are getting cleaned up. So in Solo and or Vision soon, you guys will go through the process, fill out the application with the customer. They get an instant decision. It's always a soft credit pull, so it never turns into a hard pull. We know a lot of our competitors, it's kind of like a pre-qualify where it's soft pull to start. Once there's NTP or once it's funded, they then get their credit ding. That never happens with us, which is great. Credit's good for 180 days. Nice thing is we're willing to do 2 extensions on that, both for 60 days apiece. You guys actually don't have to do anything to facilitate that. We work with your back end. Homeowner doesn't even know about it. We just do another soft pull. If everything looks the same, we give you an extra 60 days and we'll do that up to twice. So in times where there's markets, permitting's tough, things can go sideways with a job where it's going to take a little longer, we're there to support you on that. Once your customer gets an approval, they're going to get an instant email, as will you as the sales rep. The customer's email is going to have a link to their homeowner portal, and that's where they take all the actions they need to. So they will fill out their loan documents there. They'll upload a driver's license. If there is a stipulation, they can upload the proof of income. Today, we're seeing somewhere between 6 and 8% of projects will have a stip. So pretty low in terms of overall rate. And all they're going to ask for is 2 consecutive pay stubs if they're a W-2 employee. If they happen to be self-employed or they're a 1099, we'll ask for the previous year taxes.
Got it. So just really quick about the stipulations. I did one last night.
Yep.
And what they asked for was picture of the driver's license. What is the best way to clear that step for the client to upload it into the portal? For those of us that have access, can we just log in and upload it that way? Do you know if we if we upload it into assets, can our project manager do it? What's the best way to clear a step?
So either way, I mean, the homeowner, it's really easy, right? Because they can access our portal right on their phone, take a picture of the license. That's super simple. You can also send it to your project managers. They have a way to upload it in our portal. And then if you're really stuck where you're feeling like you can't get through to anyone, my colleague Shannon's on this. You could send it to her. You can send it directly to our customer service at sungage.com, and we'll take care of it for you. Easiest way is certainly for the homeowner to do it because it's instantaneous. It checks the box immediately. Going through project managers, expect to take a day or two, I would guess. It's kind of on their timeline, but multiple ways to do it. So,
okay, cool. Sounds good.
Yep. And then the last piece really in the puzzle is your operations team uploads the contract to us, in which case we grant notice to proceed. You guys do the welcome call through your Powur app, so we don't require that. We do require it with one subset, and that's Spanish speakers. If you've checked in Vision or Solo that they are only Spanish speaking, our loan documents today are only in English. We expect next year when we have another issuing bank that will have Spanish docs, which will solve that problem. But today, we don't even really call it a welcome call. It's a courtesy call that we will make to your customer in their native language in Spanish, and just say, do you have any questions on your loan documents that you just signed? So it's just kind of making sure if they really had a question, we could address it for them and they can feel confident that at least they're speaking to someone in their native language and make them comfortable. So we will do these immediately. You can actually facilitate this yourselves as well. So if you're in the home, this person's Spanish speaking and you wanted to call in to us, you can do that. We'll put a Spanish speaker on the line and take care of that right then and there.
Tom, are you able to get that? I don't know who drew on the screen. Naughty.
You would have to make me host. If you can do it in annotations, you can clear everything if you want to. Sorry, Jeff.
It's all good. Didn't even distract me, so that's not a problem. I'll go through really quickly what qualifies, what doesn't. This is also going to be in the Powur knowledge base, but we can do solar, including roof or battery. Roof and battery, either together or if it's just one of those that you're having a project, can be up to 50% of the gross cost. So a pretty big window there for those. You can also have site prep up to 15%, which doesn't count towards our price per watt. Neither does the roof or battery. I'll kind of get into that a little bit later, but that can be up to 15%. These are things like panel upgrades, rafter work, things like that if you're in the Northeast. No problem taking care of that. Obviously, it's necessary to go solar, so we don't see any issues there. We'll do up to a 4-family residential building. Caveat there is it has to be held in a customer or in a person's name. So it can't be an LLC, but these could be rental properties. As long as, one person's on the deed, they're renting it out, that's fine because we do second homes as well. If you wanted to do 2 Sungage loans, let's say, not a problem. You could do their primary and second residence, no issues there, but it'll be 2 separate loans. We get that question here and there.
Is 2 the max?
You can actually do up to 3. The caveat is going to have to fit into our total cap. So today it's 135 is our total. We are looking to move that probably in the next month or 2 to 150. And then we're hopeful next year we can go back to our original cap, which was 200,000. So if the cap moves, you'll be able to fit those in as it moves, which is nice. So we'll keep you posted.
And on that, what is the max loan amount that you guys currently have? Does it go up to 135 or on a single project? What is it?
Yeah, it goes up to 135. If you're using it all on a single project, it doesn't give you leeway for a second home, obviously. But yeah, we'll do 135 today. Probably 150 will be nationwide very soon. The 200K, I'm guessing we'll roll that out kind of slowly into like very specific markets. Hawaii will definitely be one. We see a lot of big systems with multiple batteries, and there's a couple other around the country. So we'll kind of keep you posted as we're working through that. Right now, it's just which banks and warehouse lines that we have on our back end are willing to take those loans, and we just have to have a way to allocate them. So I would expect at least the 150 to come probably in the next month or so.
Cool. And then on that note, underwriting, what's required to get qualified above 100K up to that 135 max?
Yep. So the big deal is going to be their income has to be, and it can be, with co-applicant, right? So two people, it's kind of household income, has to be 60% of the loan value, right? So if you had $100,000 loan, you need to be making 60 grand a year.
Oh, that's nothing anymore.
Yeah, for sure.
That's not hard to do. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that what it is basically? So you guys take what they make and then that's 60% of their max loan amount?
Yep. And then if, depending on for the jumbo loans, which are going to consider like 100 grand plus, usually they're looking for a 700 FICO score. Sure. 680 can get you at least 75. And then that's why I always recommend, you got a big loan, I would always recommend putting a co-applicant that lives in the home on there. It's going to help out with your debt to income. And if one of them has a higher FICO, super helpful, right? And I have a whole slide on underwriting, so we can kind of dig in a little on that too.
Sure. Sounds good, man. That's cool. Good. That's good to know. That's because, sometimes you're coming against those projects, couple batteries, might even have a new roof. It's above that 100K mark. And you're like, what do I need to do to qualify for this amount? It's get a co-applicant on there, because their income's going to help out with that ratio. So
always helpful. Yeah. And if you get a denial on a single applicant and you call in like, hey, what can I do? I can guarantee you almost every time we're going to say, do you have a co-applicant that we can throw on? So, new residential construction. So if you have a homeowner that's currently in the middle of building a house, they're going to want to throw solar on and they want to use a loan. Really easy for us. They get the approval. All we ask for from them is a contract between them and the builder. So it just has to be the signed page with them. And then we don't require like a certificate of occupancy or anything like that. So it's kind of whenever the actual solar goes on, we'll fund that loan. Homes that are in a revocable trust, we can do. If you ever see irrevocable, that basically means that home is essentially set up as an estate plan, or it's going to be transferred to an LLC if it ever moves anywhere. The only reason we can't do those is we can't put that UCC1 lien filing on it. But revocable trusts in this country are somewhere in the neighborhood of 95% of all trusts. So we do the vast majority of those. And then battery only loans, we've been talking to Powur. I don't know that you guys do specific, just straight battery projects yet.
Not at this time.
Yeah, if you do, when Powur decides to do that, we do have a product that's just batteries. Our cap for that is 75,000, but it's limited to 5 and 10-year terms right now. My guess is we move that to 15-year as the warranties continue to expand. And that's really kind of been the limiting factor there. But it works exactly like our solar loan in that there's the deferral period. If there's extra battery incentives, we'll build that into the deferral as well. So very user-friendly. In terms of things that don't qualify, we don't do standalone roofs. So if someone just wants a new roof, we don't do that. If they're doing just a ground mount, we won't allow them to do a roof in that. But if they threw a couple panels on a roof plane, we would be able to accommodate. Any home held in an LLC just can't file that UCC. That's why we don't do it. And then work unrelated to solar, which, I guess if someone's trying to do new windows, I'm sure we've financed a hot tub or two in our day, but we weren't probably aware of it. So typically we're not going to finance those. Mobile manufactured homes we do in 2 states, and that's Texas and California. The reason we chose those 2 states, we used to do it everywhere, but it was kind of a hassle. We need to prove that it's affixed to a solid foundation in order to secure the loan. Texas and California both have state databases where it's easily accessible. We can get approval in seconds. So stay tuned as more states kind of expand that. We would probably also do the same. Commercial properties, this is really specific to commercial meters, can't do them. Some projects we can do, like you'll see a small business or something running out of a home. They have a residential meter. That's fine. if you have like any mixed use properties, like a lot of small farms kind of tend to have these, a lot of times we can do it if it's going on the home itself, that home has a residential meter. So that's kind of the key, is this residential meter piece. And then with respect to split deed properties, these are going to be townhomes, condos. Split deeds don't allow us to do the UCC either, so we don't do those. But if it's one person that owns the entire property and then they own all the units and maybe they rent them out, a lot of times we see that, with duplexes, that's totally fine. So no sweat on those. It really just has to be the property is owned by one person. Typically in a townhouse condo, it's going to be owned by a homeowners association, and that just doesn't allow us to file that UCC.
Got it.
In terms of support, a bunch of different ways to reach us, but 844 Sungage is the go-to for our customer service team. We have 3 offices. We're in Boston, Oakland, and Hawaii. So we're trying to support as much time as you guys would be working. That's the easiest way to get a hold of us. We always answer the phone within a minute, and it's always going to be a US-based person that you're talking to. And again, we have Spanish speakers. We actually have translation services for, I think, 19 languages. So if you're with a customer that would need that, we can handle it. And then these 2 young ladies here, Shannon's actually on our call. She is dedicated specifically to Powur, which is great. She's based in Oakland. We call them our strategic success managers, but really any project that you have ongoing, you have a question about, they're awesome to go to. If you're in the home, you have a question, if you can't get a hold of me, because I might be in meetings or whatever, they're sitting at a desk. They'll be able to support you. I know plenty of you probably on this call have already talked to Shannon, and I'm sure she was super helpful in getting you across the finish line. All right, price per watt. I touch on this just because we're a little bit different in how we calculate this. Our price per watt cap is $625. This is calculated after we back out fees. It also would not include any roof work, site prep, or battery. So really it's just the solar, and it's after fees. So in this example, we had a 10 kW, it was 50K. There was a 20% fee. Now we're actually calculating the price per watt on 40 grand. And in this case, it would be $4 a watt. So if you look at it compared to like how our competitors do it, we're probably equivalent to around $9 a watt, $10 a watt. And the nice thing about our process is this is not a hard line cap. So you fill out an application, you're over the price per watt limit. We're still going to get you that approval. And then afterwards, we're going to reach out to the rep directly. And we're just going to say, hey, what's going on with this project? You guys say it's a little bit of a difficult job. It's a small roof. It's this, it's that. Almost 95% of the time, we're going to say yes. If you come to us and it's $15 a watt, it's going to be a little trickier. So then we're like, all right, how big is the pool that's going in, and whatever may be included, right? So really, this is actually a super lenient policy. I know it's different from everybody else, but trust me when I say it works in your favor. All right, so credit underwriting requirements. We just changed this actually when we launched with you guys. We are seeing already 12 to 15% more approvals. A lot of this is because of the no debt to income at all over 700. So this is great because a lot of the places where, it's really expensive to live, debt to income is always a problem, but someone could have an 800, they could have 120% debt to income, right? And that would be kicked out of almost everybody's program, but we'll allow it because we understand, like, they obviously are paying their bills. They know how to exist at this level of debt. So why are we penalizing them, right? And then you can kind of see as the FICOs go down, we get a lot more strict on debt to income. Your toughest subset's going to be that 640 to 660. And really, these are customers that are going one or two ways in life, right? They're either on their way down, they're not paying bills, they're doing everything wrong, or they're kind of on their way back. And typically that means they paid off a bunch of credit card debt. They've done the things they need to. So hopefully their debt to income is in check, right? That's the basics there. So a couple of the resources we have in Powur knowledge base. There's a quick training video you can always refer to. There's a sheet in there, a link for a document called Sungage Installer Onboarding Information. It's a 4-page document. It's basically got every FAQ you could come up with when you have a question, and has a way to quick link to those questions. So I always say, if you have something you just want a quick hit, great place to start. Any of you that have not signed up for Sungage yet, we've received a full data load from Powur, so we should have everyone in our system. All we need you to do is fill out your code of conduct and take a quick quiz, and then you're live. if you haven't received this, reach out to Shannon or our customer service. We'll send you the link right away. Honestly, this whole process takes about a minute. So we can get you up and running, no problem, very quickly. And then just a shout out that every single week we will conduct office hours on Fridays. It's at 10 a.m. Pacific. We'll be there for a full hour. If you just want to pop in for a minute because you have a quick question, great. If we have some kind of new product rollout or a change in any way, we'll also take that opportunity to do some training in those meetings. So, and the link for that's also in Knowledge Base. I see there's a couple hands up. So
yeah. Well, let's get to some questions. First of all, really quick, Jeff, thank you for taking the time and running through the slides and going through the nitty gritty. I'm sure some people have some questions. You guys are extremely lenient in your underwriting, especially in this environment right now where banks are tightening up. You know, you're getting more declines. Sungage has been an awesome option. It's going to my primary. Just waiting for Matt Gordon to get in the division. That's it. But with that said, I did have a few questions. So one, credit extensions, right? As we know in this environment, how about PG&E territory? They want to get a battery. They need a main panel upgrade.
Yep.
How long are they qualified for the loan? Is there a time limit? That's my first question.
So they have, from the time they're approved, the clock starts on 180 days as their first credit window.
6 months.
Yep.
Okay.
And then you get to 6 months, right? We're going to start reaching out, like Sungage proactively, about a month prior, we'll start reaching out to your project managers and saying like, hey, you think this is one's going to get in? At 7 days before, we're going to say we should probably just do an extension. When we do the extension, homeowner has no place in it, right? So they don't even know. We just run the same soft pull in the background. If their credit looks the same, we extend them 60 days. And then we can do that again for another 60 days. So really all in, you can get up to, what is that? 240 days total credit window before we'd have to rerun an application.
Wow, that's incredible. That would have been really helpful for a couple of projects about 6-8 months ago.
Yeah. Well, the good news
that's
too,
that's huge. That's huge. Oh, and I know you're loving that. Tony, I know you're loving that.
Yeah. And those extensions, just so you know, I mean, obviously in the past, it's been challenging because we've seen APRs just disappear, right? Everyone had a 0.99, we had a 0%. And over the course of 8-9 months, like slowly those began to go away. And so at the extension, you would be subject if an APR went away. Good news for us is because we've diversified our capital stack, we don't see any APRs going away. And in fact, we are talking to another very large kind of corporate bank that hopefully we bring on in early 2024 that might be willing to do 399s with us on a 20 and 25 year. So we might actually be expanding the list of options we have moving forward.
Wow, that's awesome. So you answered that one. My next one is, and I don't blame if you don't do this. And I don't know of any company that does, but someone asked in the chat. So refinances, right? Obviously, you guys re-amortize. We're in a super high rate environment. Me personally, my favorites, 25-year, 9.740 dealer fee. It's great. But at some point, rates are going to come back down to earth. And when they do, they're either going to refinance with the credit union, they're going to try to pay it off quick. I'm not talking like, a point drop or two, but if rates, dramatically decrease, are you guys going to offer refinancing to clients, or should they just go to a local credit union and do it?
Yeah. So as of today, we do not. What I can say is if we do, and I mean, right now wouldn't make sense, but as we see rates drop for sure, typically when we've made a change of any kind, like to a major policy like that. So we used to not have transferable loans. We do now. There's been other things too with like refinancing and lifting liens that we didn't have a process around. But typically what we do is we would make those retroactive to any approval we've ever had. So if and when we decide to do it, a customer that's already in the bucket, we'd be able to go back to and say, yes, you are eligible, which is great. So we'll see where we come to. Probably, I mean, my guess is it's likely a year away before we see total stability in the market. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Right before the election.
Yeah, that would be that would be the time where we'd make that decision and put together a process. The nice thing is with the way we've structured ourselves over the last year to have multiple banks, warehouse lines, and all these different methods of capital, it gives us the opportunity to go to one that would be willing to do it, and we can make it an overall policy, right? We're not bound by just having single entity bank that's like they're the decision maker. So we'll see.
Yeah, I like how flexible you guys are. You guys are pretty fluid, and it would make sense, right? If you guys are holding the paper and then rates fall, you're going to lose all these customers, right? So might as well maybe offer it to your own clients. So look out for that in the future. So with that said, we have a couple people who have their hands raised. Dr. Tim, your hand was up first. What do you got, brother?
Yeah, thanks for being on, Jeff. I had an issue last week. It took like 3 days to finally get an answer. I kept getting these red flags on Solo, and then I guess somebody finally figured out that Sungage is not available in South Carolina. Is there a document somewhere where we know what states Sungage is selling in with Powur? So, I mean, personally, I think it would make more sense if Solo didn't have that as an option in my state, but I need to know where you guys are.
Yeah, so the only two states today where we're not available is South Carolina and Hawaii. Hawaii is we're good to go. We're waiting on Powur to give us the green light. South Carolina is a Solo issue. We will be available as soon as we launch with Vision. In South Carolina, as you know, there's the state tax credit, and you can only take 3,500 year one. We build that 3,500 into our deferral. And for whatever reason, Solo has not been able to represent that monthly payment correctly. And that's the only holdup. I mean, we have no issues with lending in South Carolina. We love it because we're a huge advantage, but we have been working with them, and I know we have a meeting with them later today. So stay tuned, and I'll make sure like any of those announcements would either go in the Powur knowledge base, or like we'll send it up to Powur to kind of do a nationwide blast or something like that.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Of course.
Question on that though, Jeff. You know, a lot of lenders, sometimes they have like just a direct qualifying portal, right? Where you don't have to go necessarily through Solo. Like for that instance, client likes it, likes the numbers, ready to go. Do we have a direct link to run credit?
So what we've been told is it is certainly possible. Like we've had issues where just like something wasn't working, Solo was broken, and like the Powur ops team or the project managers do have access where they could actually run a credit app through us. They've kind of asked us not to give access to our portal with sales reps. So that's the reason it's not available for you guys. But it's kind of the one-off. Like I think you'd reach out to either finance at Powur or Emily Budd directly, and they might be able to build out a proposal for you and send out an application for a homeowner.
Cool.
Yeah, I was all excited, and then I was like, no.
Well, you know what,
both.
Sam, like you said, maybe shoot an email to finance@powur.com and see if they could do it. No promises, but if they're able to, you know, any way we can.
No, that's a great idea. Thanks, Jared.
Yep, you got it. Bill, you have a question.
Yeah, just real quick, Jeff. Had a customer approved for 65,000. The project was 79. He's on the verge of paying off his car, and he said his roommate is whoever lived in the house had worse credit than he did. Would just the addition of his income have helped if I had ran him as a co-borrower?
Tough to say, because I'm not sure just offhand if it was like the income level issue or if it was more like a debt to income, you know. And
he's paying off he was paying off his car. He's going to pay off his car. I think he already has. And he said he didn't have much high balance on his cards. He told him he made $120,000 was his income. So on that basis, I thought, okay, well, let's let you pay off your car and see if we can run it. I don't know how quickly it's going to show again on the bureaus are going to show, but I asked him to tell us, you know, his financier to submit it quickly and get it on the, you know, get it in that it's paid. But would that be worth talking to your folks about running it again, or?
Yeah, so two things with that. Like, I'm guessing most likely he was on the lower end of the FICO score range, and that's why 65 was the max. Because if his income was 120, that's not the issue, right? I will say this: if he's paying things off, typically it's going to take at least 30 days to hit his credit. but it should come with an increase in FICO score for sure, right? And a much less debt to income ratio. So these are things where like we could wait 30 days, run a new application. The beauty of our product, right? It's not going to ding his credit. So it's not going to adversely affect him there. And then we could take a look. But I would guess you're going to want to wait at least a minimum of 30 days for that FICO cycle to update. And that would kind of be the go around just off the top of my head. But if you want to throw the customer name in the chat, Shannon can kind of take a look and we'll get back to you today.
Cool.
Yeah, I was going to say, is that something that, I mean, underwriting questions, would you recommend just calling the 800 Sungage number, or should we be reaching out to Shannon to kind of look at these one by one? Or what do you recommend?
Shannon's going to be the go-to just because of, the rules and regulations around who can see actual credit reports with us. So our customer service team won't get access to a credit report because we don't want them sharing information, right? But we can take a look and we get all of the denial reasons, things like that. So we can kind of help you work through it. And the nice thing is if we notice like, hey, someone that if you have a co-op that makes this much amount of money, we can probably get them approved. A lot of times we can kind of guide you to where you need to go to get an approval.
I mentioned too, Jeff, I just posted the the Sungage onboarding playbook into the chat here. So everybody, I just pulled that from the Sungage page and knowledge base. One of my questions for Jeff was, what bureau do you use currently? And it's right there in the book. It's Experian.
Yep.
So here's my tip to you. If you've got somebody, to all of you sellers, not to Jeff. If you've got somebody that is close on one of the credit thresholds, try Experian Boost. So they can go to Experian.com, sign up for that, and things like just paying their cell phone bill. Yep. If they connect their account that they're paying their cell phone bill from, that can actually improve their credit score, in as little as, a couple weeks or, a couple months. So you can use that and maybe even get some more people qualified just with Experian Boost, and it's free.
Great tip. That's a great tip, Tom. Thank you for
Absolutely.
sharing that. Hey, Jeff, if you want to go ahead and hit stop share, that way we can take it down. We'll all expand here on the screen. Right on, dude. But yeah, no, those are all that's a great tip, Tom. I appreciate that. Even Shannon said it really does help. Ubaldo, my man, numero uno. What's up, amigo?
Hey, Jerry. How you doing, man?
Living the dream.
Good to see you all guys. I'm excited. I still have the energy from the Powur convention, so I'm very excited. So, Jeff, thank you for the information. This is obviously something that we need. It's a really good change for us, and there is no doubt that you guys have the best option right now. But however, we have some issue with the calculation of the number. For instance, we have one customer last night. The proposal was showing the monthly payment $275 for the installation agreement, come out with $365, like a really wild number. So I've been in contact with Danny Monroe from Solo, Emily Budd, and Matt Gordon, and also with the new customer incentive. If you have like a $100 monthly payment, the incentive is supposed to be like $200. They put 5,000, with this all over the place. So we need to fix that problem, because I have like a 5 deal right now, and send it to somebody else one by one, because this is something like it's very confusing with the numbers. So,
Baldo, that is why we built Vision, right? Because we don't have control over Solo. And there's a lot of challenges in trying to do in having lots of options like we do with Powur. So definitely not a Sungage issue. It's a Solo issue there.
Yeah, unfortunately. And we are working through those as quick as we can. We have, daily we're talking to Solo. I will say I did notice with down payments. So I believe the way you guys build out your projects, right? It's kind of like through the Powur software, then it gets moved into Solo. When it gets moved into Solo, there's an option where you can actually enter a down payment. And so I've seen a couple where someone entered the down payment. Now it got double counted. So it looked like the actual loan amount was much less that they were applying for. So if you've already entered a down payment through the Powur software when you're building it, you don't need to enter it into Solo. That's just one quick thing I noticed. But any of that feedback you have for any of you guys, send it up to me. I know you guys have contact with Solo as well, but we are kind of compiling a list and working through these with Solo. So it's really helpful for us to know.
Yeah, can you share your email so I can send you like a couple example? Because
Yeah.
even the monthly payment from the month 1 to 18 is higher than the after the 18 month, which is supposed to be the opposite. You know.
And is this something that you'd want to share with Shannon, or are you the best go-to for this, Jeff?
Either or.
Okay.
Her and I are both in this. We have a shared Slack channel with Solo, so we are throwing stuff in there every day. So either one of us will work.
Ubaldo, he put his contact information in the chat, and then we're going to wrap this up here in just a minute. But before we do, I just wanted to ask you a couple of your favorite products, what you got going on, what you've seen hot in the market that's really making an impact. I'll start off myself. I'm a big no dealer fee guy.
Yeah.
Like, I like that. I'm like, hey, the price of the system is forever. Interest rates are temporary. I'd much rather go with a no dealer fee or next to nothing. Your guys is 25-year 9.74. When you compare it to the competitors out there, the next one is 11.74, right? For like Sunlight or something like that. It was like 40 or 50 bucks difference in the monthly on this project. That is huge, you guys. And to be able to present somebody with a 9.74, first of all, it's under 10, right? So that doesn't, that barrier of like, holy shit, man, this is over the 10% interest loan. Like, people don't like that. The truth of the matter is, rates mortgage-backed securities just went to 8%. 8%. And when you explain that to a customer and you say, you guys, this isn't a 30-year mortgage where, like, if you don't make the payment, they're going to get the home back. This is a press of a button, unsecured loan, and it's only 1.74% higher than a mortgage loan. So that's my personal favorite one right now. Absolutely love it. But Jeff, if you have a couple that are really hot that you want to share with everybody, go for it.
Yeah, I'd say kind of market specific, but the low dealer fee, even like the 899, 974, those have been really popular. And then by far and away, like the 499 25-year is also very popular. You're going to get the lowest monthly payment. And when you're comparing us to our competitors, just because of our pricing, I know we're cheaper than a 449 that's out there. Like, our monthly payment's going to be cheaper.
Because the dealer fee is less, right?
Yeah,
so it's
I think
you can have a smaller interest, but if it's on a much higher payment, the payment's going to be higher anyways. So you could get a little bit smaller, but the overall cost is going to be down.
Exactly. Yep. So those would be the major ones right now. I mean, the stuff in between, we don't see a ton, but that our 299 on a 15-year, that's also been really popular. It's typically going to be used in markets where, we see utility prices are bonkers. For anybody that's working in like Massachusetts area is a huge one. If you guys ever go into New York, we see probably 70% of our loans in New York are 15-year. Massachusetts just had crazy, like my rate went up 60% in the last year. Our other utility went up about 33%. So in those markets, you're almost able to pencil on a 15-year note cheaper than the utility right out of the gate anyways. So that's a great option that I always consider. And then my success story that I have that I've gone back to for like 7 years, we had a rep that was the most prolific seller we ever had of any company we worked with. He started every single deal by selling a 5-year note. And he said it just gave him so many options to go to when a customer balked that he could adjust monthly payment almost any way he wanted with like interest rate or term, and he could kind of keep moving the scale. I always like to point that out as like, hey, it's an option. You guys have access to so many things, which is really great about Powur. Most of the companies we work with are like, we're going to give our reps like 3 options that they can sell. You guys kind of have the power to go in there and check out like, hey, how do I make this work for this specific customer to meet their needs? Because you have every single option open to you.
Love it, man. Absolutely love it. Be a consultant, you guys. It's not a one size fits all. Jeff, super appreciate your time. I love Sungage. I appreciate you, Shannon, coming on here. And yeah, we're ready to rock and get these lows. Man, when you see Matt today, just give him a hard little nudge. You know what I mean? Like, let's make it happen. Let's get this thing going, shall we?
We absolutely will. And I mean, really, the real reason Matt wasn't on is because he's so short, you wouldn't even be able to see him in the camera anyway. So
No,
we sent the big guy.
shots fired, not the Mac. That's my boy. Don't talk on that like that. All right, you guys. Well, hey, with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. I appreciate your time. I'm gonna stick around for office hours after this. And yeah, thanks again, Jeff, for your time.
Thank you guys. Really appreciate it.
You got it.
Thanks, Jeff.